Hello and welcome back to this edition of How to Cake It. It's a lovely Tuesday morning. Today we're looking at a baker in her natural habitat as she attempts to make the world's first ever s'mores board, which is a board comprised of treats, all inspired by s'mores. Although the region of Ontario is known for cold weather, what most don't know is that in southern Ontario, it gets very hot, sticky, and humid in the summer. This poses a problem for our baker. In North America, most people make their s'mores with store-bought marshmallows, the round variety, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this baker wants to make her own marshmallows from scratch. Here we see her boiling a sugar syrup on the stove. She has a thermometer, so she's obviously trying to reach a certain temperature. And meanwhile, in the bowl of her stand mixer, she is blooming some gelatin. Oh, she's reached temperature. She's reached temperature. She's moving the pot. She's slowly pouring the sugar mixture into the gelatin. This is a lot like how you make Italian meringue buttercream, it seems. And that mixture is whipping up to 3 times its size. Look at the volume. Now that the mixture has tripled in size, the baker is adding the finest vanilla, which she imports from Grenada, her mother's country of origin. She's now greasing her tools and a pan that will contain the marshmallows. This is ancient marshmallow tradition. The mixture seems sticky and difficult to work with, but she's handling it well, pouring it into the prepared pan, smoothing it on top, and then dusting it with a generous portion of icing sugar, known in other regions as confectioner's sugar and 10X. This baker is on quite a mission today. She hasn't settled for store-bought marshmallows, and it seems she's not settling for store-bought graham crackers either. Here, we're watching her attempt to make homemade graham crackers for the first time. Look at her. This baker has a habit of making things more difficult for herself. I feel like this stems from her novelty cake decorating, where everything is difficult. So when something seems too simple, she finds a way to make it harder. We'll unpack that in another episode. Here we see her creaming butter and brown sugar. There's a few other ingredients, and you really see this dough come together much like a sugar cookie dough. Oh, she's pouring it out of the bowl. She's pouring it out of the bowl. She's kneading it all together. And now she's separating the dough into discs to chill. I wonder why she's doing that. It must be the humidity. She has once again graciously included the recipe for the graham crackers below. While the graham cracker dough is chilling, the baker moves on to make her s'mores version of Rice Krispie squares. I can see she has some sort of a graham cracker cereal, as well as all the other usual ingredients used in Rice Krispies: marshmallows, butter, and vanilla. She has some mini marshmallows on the side and some chunks of chocolate. Let's see what she does. She's melting the butter in a pot and adding the marshmallows, letting them melt slowly as she stirs. Now she's adding in her graham cereal, but I think she's not happy with the mixture. She's breaking up some store-bought graham crackers into the mixture as well. I think she feels that there's too much marshmallow. This baker doesn't want the marshmallow to overpower the graham. This is about balance. Now she's pouring the mixture into a square pan. It looks greased. There's parchment paper inside. She's poured half the mixture in, and now she's lining the top with store-bought marshmallows, completely covering it with a layer of marshmallows. She's adding more mixture on top, topping it with mini marshmallows and chocolate chunks. It is filled to the brim. How will she cut this? How will she cut this? We'll have to wait and see. She's brought back out the chilled graham dough. Let's see what she does. Oh, she's rolling it out. She has some flour on the side, a silicone rolling pin. She's rolling that graham cracker dough nice and thin onto silicone mats, and then she's chilling it. She's really battling this humidity today. First she's cutting out a lovely fluted round shape, which is not the usual shape of a graham cracker. But she is also cutting out some square ones and making sure to dock the crackers well with a fork. Docking is the process of pricking the dough with the prongs of a fork. It seems as if she has gathered up all the scraps, the remnants of the dough, kneaded it back together, and now she's rolling it into a large circle, docking it, and I think she's taking it to the oven to bake. We'll have to wait and see what she does with that extra dough. Okay, now we have stumbled on a real treat. The baker is making Italian meringue buttercream, something she does regularly on this channel. In fact, almost every single episode, but we usually don't get to watch her make it. We see her use it and fill cakes and pipe. Today she is making it right in front of our eyes. And now she seems to be bruleeing the meringue. I think she's making a toasted marshmallow buttercream. And I think it's brilliant. This is a treat. I need to take a closer look, excuse me. Just look at her.
Why did I not get any of the toasted marshmallow buttercream?
Did you get any s'mores treats?
No.
Sorry. But it seems like the caramelized meringue is not enough toastiness for this baker today, because she has filled a tray with mini marshmallows and is now placing them under the broiler to roast. Will she add this to the buttercream? She's taking them out, putting them aside. It's time to add the butter to her buttercream. And as I suspected, she's now adding in those little roasty, toasty mini marshmallows.
How delicious was that?
Really good. Okay. Now we see our baker with a variety of chocolate. The average s'more is usually made with a square of milk or dark chocolate, but that's not enough for this baker. She likes variety. After all, this is a smorgasbord. So she has milk chocolate, dark chocolate, birthday cake chocolate, and cookies and cream chocolate, which she is cutting into squares. And now we see the baker with some really fancy marshmallows. I believe she found these in a specialty European store. She has them on a rack and she is carefully bruleeing them with the help of Bernadette. However, these marshmallows are quite sugary. So she's burned a couple. She's put them aside, she has extra. This baker is always prepared. Now we can see her carefully picking up these elaborate marshmallows, dipping them into melted chocolate, and then placing them, centering them on those circular fluted graham crackers that she made earlier. What a treat. This is like a leveled up s'more. The baker has moved on to her next project, and I really like this project because not only is it not only is it inspired by s'mores, but it is also reminding us of how s'mores are made. The baker is using salted pretzel sticks to resemble a twig and placing a marshmallow on the end. And this is how the typical North American roasts marshmallows over a campfire, which is where s'mores are made. But today in her kitchen, she is placing a salted pretzel stick into a marshmallow and dipping that marshmallow into melted chocolate. And after she dips each marshmallow into the melted chocolate, she makes sure to get rid of the excess chocolate and then dips the bottom in graham crumbs. So now you see we have all the elements of a s'more, but in a very different format. Now we see the baker returning to one of her projects from earlier on, the s'mores-inspired Rice Krispie squares. Like, what is that?
It's spaceship.
They're coming for me. I have to go. Bye. I'm like leaving this planet. You can keep it with your global warming, so. I wonder if it's easier to cake decorate on Mars. She's removing the concoction from the pan and she is carefully measuring and cutting it into 16 equal squares. They're not quite squares. They're very giant, tall structures. Roasted marshmallows are a part of s'mores. Let's see what she does. Oh, she is bruleeing the marshmallow layer between the squares. And she's using the turntable to rotate each square as she does it. Now the baker is returning to her very first project, the homemade marshmallows. They're set up. She has a cutting board, a knife with some oil on the side. Marshmallows are very sticky. And she has a mixture of icing sugar and cornstarch, which she is going to dust generously onto her cutting board, onto the surface of the marshmallow. And then she's using a ruler and a knife to cut the marshmallows into 16 even squares, making sure to dust every side of the marshmallow with the icing sugar and cornstarch so they don't stick together.
Why is she measuring so diligently?
This baker is known for her measuring. Always, you can frequently see her with a ruler. I think it makes her feel safe and comfortable. Look at this. I mean, we know this baker is a cake decorator. It seems she has baked a layer of her ultimate chocolate cake. She has cut this cake into 16 equal squares and made sure to simple syrup them. This is another thing that this baker is known for. She says it locks in the moisture. Remember that beautiful toasty buttercream she made earlier? She is now spreading it generously on the top of each square of cake, and it's quite a rustic look for this baker. I think she feels very free in her habitat today. Now she's garnishing these cake squares with a little bit of graham cracker, marshmallow, and chocolate. These are very small cakes for this type of baker to decorate, but she looks like she's having a good time. Now it's finally time, after all this hard work, hours and hours of labor, the baker is going to assemble the smorgasbord. What is that she has on her workbench? She has a pink tackle box of some sort. And she's filling the bottom with a layer of store-bought marshmallows. What is she doing? Now she's placing her homemade marshmallow squares on top of that layer of store-bought marshmallows. She obviously thinks they are superior. On the next level of the tackle box, she's lining up all of the chocolate. The milk chocolate, the dark chocolate, the birthday cake chocolate, and the cookies and cream chocolate. And I'm guessing, let's see if we're right, on the top layer, yes, she is. She is adding graham crackers, store-bought, homemade, and chocolate covered. So I think that this is an interactive sort of board. And I knew she would use that giant round graham cracker that she baked. She's used it as a platter underneath those marshmallows. I've really enjoyed watching this baker in action today. I've loved the way she has deconstructed the traditional s'more and created a lot of variety within that theme. I hope you've enjoyed it too, and I hope you'll join me on the next episode of How to Cake It.